looking for a mother, or if he's smart, he's just looking for the life lessons that he can learn to take back, if he decides to go back to the younger fold. And that's when we got all this other conflama, you know.
Well, actually, I was one of those.
You had an older woman?
Back in the day.
And I think...
Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, because I'm ready to roll. I am ready to roll.
The business is custom splinter.
When I was 20 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I was just starting to feel myself and come into my own and realize I ain't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. It came across my mind back then that maybe if I got somebody that was about 70 years old, that, I can make sure that I'm inserted into the will appropriately and as a beneficiary on a life insurance policy appropriately, get everything notarized and signed, sealed, and delivered. Do the talcum powder thing at 9 p.m. and then go out after that and do what I need to do and give it a few more years and I'll be good.
I'm so sorry.
Well.
At 19, the future forward thinking about being written into the will, that's everything. You were really forward thinking, like,
because
she might kick. I love her, but she might kick. Man, I better get in the will.
Because I actually owned a house then, so I was a homeowner at that. I was a homeowner at the age of 19. I owned my first home. So obviously, when you do that, you have to have the will set up and the whole beneficiaries and stuff like that. So I had people who educated me and schooled me, and how to protect your assets and things of that nature. So I'm like, well, if I can do it at 19. Who knows what somebody at 70 years of age got, and maybe we can work something out, and I can be the cabana boy, the pool boy. Although at that age I didn't know how to swim, but
I really need to say some things here. First of all, the idea that you used insertion was like, what did you say? Insertion? You had to insert yourself? So now, before I go back to this insertion, let me help, because this charming young man next to me, I need to make him understand that as a black man, sorry should never come out of your word. I apologize, my bad, excuse me, forgive me, or whatever. But as fine as you are, as young as you seem to be, and as I would be giving you an opportunity and even given a chance, but I don't have a food stamp with coupons, so I can't. But I don't ever want the word sorry to come out of your mouth. Good enough? Good enough. Now back to this cat who was inserting stuff into 70-year-old women. I'm confused because he said he had insertion and he's smart. And it must have paid off. And everybody that's 70 years old does not look.
It didn't work.
What do you mean it didn't work?
I tried. I wanted to.
I'm sure you got women lined up to be with you because she taught them, like, she might have been too old to teach, but she could show. Or she could inform you what you need to be doing, because
draw some diagrams.
Yeah, draw some diagrams. She can say, well, baby, this is how you do this, and this is how you. And so when you take that back to the young girl, the young girl is like, oh man, you so ooh-wee, and then you blowing their minds. But the word insertion is what really got me. Now I'm gonna leave that alone and let y'all go ahead on. What'd you say?
Diagrams. If she's that old, it might be hieroglyphics.
Something like Morse code.
Well, we all done got here, and we's all alive.
Right.
So somebody was doing something way back when.
That's true.
It sort of.
Oh God.
Tell me about the 70-year-old woman at 19. No, seriously, were you dealing with her, or were you just?
That was just a
That
thought.
was his plan.
Yeah. Oh, that was okay.
I was trying to get my
his
life plan together.
Was foiled by a 21-year-old that caught him off guard.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that.
Yeah.
So she knew more than you did.
She knew more than I did, but
they learned together.
See, women are slick. Slick as goose grease. When you look at me, I'm popping my Valvoline. You can't. You can't be slick to a can of oil. You really
that is true.
You can't be slick to a can of oil.
No, you can't be.
Oh,
and I'm popping mine top of the line Valvoline, baby.
Hard.
No, that's a whole other kind of grease, baby.
I listened to her talking about being slick and slickly putting her arm around my church. Do we see that?
She just made it so excited.
She was like,
That's not that's just what needs to be done. I need to hold you closer to me, darling. You know, yeah.
She don't want you to fall off the chair.
That's exactly what
my
I
safety.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to keep you
it's like a
near. I
seatbelt.
want to
You're
keep
not
you
ready.
near. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Blessings all
So
the way
explain to me
around.
once again why it is that it's okay for an old guy to have me, but I can't have a young guy.
Well, sometimes older dudes want the little trophy wife thing. And, you can't necessarily have that if she's older than you. So, if you a professional football player, athlete, whatever the case might be, you may want that young modelist, type of baby doll, plastic surgery.
Please don't
type
take me
of
there,
woman.
because see, that's a whole other ball game.
We won't take you there, but
Really.
in the
It's
cases
trophy
that
wives,
you-
though.
in those
It's
cases,
real.
And most of the trophy wives seem to be European.
Exactly.
She don't have
But
to
no,
She don't gotta do nothing.
She don't gotta clean up the house. She can
No,
shop. She can shop for
no
her.
brains.
Right.
So you see, typically that's what they're getting. They're getting someone inexperienced that just want to get out of their mama's house. Men go through that midlife crisis where they have to get a fast red car. They have to, determine whether they're going to keep that frog war dome or go ahead on and go ball with it or sweep it over, whatever they're going to do. Once they make that decision, next thing they do is they prey. They become predators. And they look
Oh, I was
for
gonna
who
say
they can.
prey.
Yeah, she meant P-R-E-Y.
Okay.
EY, they prey.
Okay.
They become predators, and then they try to find the young, obnoxious, oblivious, naive, gullible. All she want to do
Not
is shop.
obnoxious. We subtract
No,
that one.
they'll
The
take
other
up-
ones.
they'll take obnoxious.
Obnoxious.
They will take.
Really?
I am telling you, I bear witness from my former life.
She was one of the ones.
No, I was not. See, I was not from he did, but that's okay.
No, I'm just saying.
From a former
Hey.
life, I've actually witnessed men and could not understand why they would just tolerate the stupidity. The looks were great, and all they had to do was keep putting food in her mouth so she wouldn't talk, or keep buying her something. But hey, whatever they needed, it works for some people. Women typically become the cougar or whatever if they are attracted to a younger male or something like that, and it's pretty sad.
You a cougar hunter.
How can you be a?
You
Oh, you were
cougar
looking for
You
a
were
cougar.
looking for an older woman with some money.
Something like that.
Okay.
Okay, well,
My first experience with another woman, I was 19 years old, smelling myself, no pot, no window, and this young lady took a nice liking to me, and she was 30, and this is like 20 years ago, so I don't think the term cougar had been invented yet.
Oh, that's something else,
You
darling.
could not tell me anything.
That's something else.
Unlike you, my good sir, I wasn't waiting for her to kick the can. And get
well, I figured I wanted this to be a short-lived proposition. I ain't want no long-term contract or nothing. This was just short-term. You had one, leg in the grave, other leg,
On a banana
whatever.
peel.
Exactly.
On a banana peel.
Be calling up hospice and whatnot,
To her
and
previous point, I did learn a few things.
I'm sure you did. But let me tell you what you did, and you have no concept of how lucky you were. You were 19 and she was 30. And between 30 and 40, we're at our sexual peak. That's when we want to try things we read in the book.
between 30 and 40.
Yeah, between 30. We get
Wait a minute.
overwhelmed.
Dudes are in their 20s.
Yes.
In their sexual peak.
But
Women are in their
30 and
I thought it was
40.
in their 40s.
I didn't get that.
It's 30 to 40.
That's 30. It's not. So what happens in the 40s?
Oh, you can't handle the 40s, baby.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm giving you the light side. Of the 30s and 40s.
Right.
But what about men? Because I haven't gotten the memo. I don't know what the peak ages are.
Nah,
Have you missed your
I'll be
peak?
40. I'll be 40 on Monday. And
As long as you can function without a pill, you
need a gym membership.
As long as you can function without a pill, you're
Have you
good to go.
you need a gym membership because you about to roll up, and if your stamina ain't built up.
I do need to work on my cardio. I promise you. My cardio is not
where it needs to be.
I'm gonna need you to take a Zumba class. It's gonna help you with your cardio and your rhythm.
I'm a drummer. I got all the rhythm in the world.
Oh, okay.
Rhythm is-
You can hit it on beat. You can hit it on beat.
Okay.
Well. And he said he has rhythm, y'all.
I'm good with my hands.
I got
Ooh,
rhythm.
Jesus Christ.
And you can just tap
that's
stuff.
me.
Just be tapping.
Don't use the word tap.
Right.
Don't use
What?
the
That's
word
what
tap.
drummers do.
You can't say nothing around Miss Michelle.
Because let me tell you something. I have a dirty man, and I'm honest about it.
Please tell me what do you want Santa to bring you for Christmas?
Santa can't bring me nothing. He should just never mind. See,
See?
I don't want Rudolph in his nose. I don't want Dancer Prancer. Now, you can bring me. I could be the vixen, and you could bring
Okay,
me
there you
something. But
Well,
Okay.
I remember one time I was working in Atlanta, and it was a group of us that were out, and we had that kind of break where you run through the mall or whatever. And
What kind of break is that?
I don't like those kind of.
Exactly. I'm like,
Were you
run through the
shopping?
mall.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, well, we were connected, like we were right across the street from it. It was a business complex stuff,
Y'all
and
went
you
to
just
the
go
food
across.
court.
And they went to the food court. I went shopping.
okay.
However,
For those that work for WDRBmedia, that will not be tolerated, and that is against company policy. So,
What, going to the food court?
when you get a break, we got a lunch break.
no lunch breaks at WDRB Media, 24 hours a day, 7
Somebody
days a week.
call
What I'm going to do with that lamb over there?
Somebody give us a number for human trafficking and slavery.
I'll share my lamb with you, but I'm going to eat that.
But anyway, we were in the mall, and one of the I just happened to catch up with one of the people that I was with, and his nickname was Buddha. Buddha.
Okay.
Because you ever seen somebody
Did he
with a
look- he
belly?
looked like Buddha?
Yes. You ever seen a belly so
Oh.
big that the belly button looked like a hole?
innie looks-
Yeah.
yeah.
So the shirt kind of looked like a
It tucked in?
trampoline right there.
It like it
Yes.
sucked in?
Yes.
Like a little valley.
Right. So Buddha saw me, and he country shorter than me. He said, "What you doing out there? What you looking at? What you got?" He's from Louisiana, so Geechee all day long. Anyway, like I'm standing there shopping, and he was steady talking about something. And so help me, if two females didn't walk by and said, "She must be in it for the money," they thought we were together. I was
Bummer.
so mad.
Did you turn around and tell them, no, darling, I'm not in it at all?
They were walking to.
It's too late.
I was
It's
so,
too late.
and I had that.
And you
I couldn't even catch my
yourself.
breath
You
and-
couldn't defend yourself. That wasn't fair.
I could not. I had to avoid throwing up. And Buddha didn't hear nothing. He still just at the
Yeah.
top of the yacht.
Did he have a gold tooth?
No, he didn't.
Oh, thank God.
He didn't. But he had that. He had that. That dome thing
swirl
with
hair.
the hair on the outside, with
When you
none on
cross
the
over.
inside.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
the
re-
friar tuck. That's what it was. A friar tuck with a Buddha belly. He didn't know what religion he wanted to
Something
be.
that you mentioned about that, and the young ladies passing you by, and this can go for the entire subject, but you know, they saw what they saw, and it was the perception
It was.
that they took from it. Didn't
Because
matter what-
perception is greater than reality, and that's the falsity.
Right,
Because
and I-
nowadays you can't sit down and have lunch with somebody without somebody
not being-
thinking you in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
have-
we just having lunch.
Now I have intentionally and purposefully dated older, and I think the biggest difference might have been 19 years, and the only reason, one of the only reasons we lasted for about 3 consecutive years. Not we hung out, we kicked it, and it didn't start to dating until like year 3, but he got sick, and it was just common cold, but it turned into bronchitis or whatever else. He got sick, and I was there to take care of him. And for him, it was the most humiliating thing. Like, he was fine, but he was like, I can't do this. He was like, I can't have
Can't do
you.
what?
He just, he,
Care of him,
right.
yeah.
He literally said, he was like, and he brought it to the table. He said, I am so much older than you. I'll die before you, and that's not fair. Like, you should enjoy
Anyone
your
out there
life.
in
You
Radio
should
Land,
enjoy your life.
Dr. Bizness is available to be taken care of. When I'm on my sick bed, I want somebody there to be wiping my brow, the drool
I
off the
thought you
side
were
of
gonna
my
say
lip,
butt.
and the boogers out my eye. You know, no, they have nurses for the butt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no,
That
but
is a level of love.
that's a lover right
Uh-huh.
there.
Many folk don't attain.
Yeah.
That's a
But-
level.
After
So he
that,
decided he just couldn't do the couple thing with you because
he just felt that it was unfair to me because our
sweet.
relationship really was just had gone through a divorce and had never pretty much did anything. We went skydiving and scuba diving and, the adventurous things that I like to do. So he kind of, he did. And it was great. And, it kept its distance. But after all that time, eventually, we got kind of close. And it was until he got sick, he realized that because we had crossed that friendship line, like I could date while we were scuba diving or whatever, I would go out, but when we crossed that friendship line, he was a very healthy.
So he wanted to die alone.
Gentleman.
I don't understand.
He didn't want
that.
to die alone. He wanted to be with somebody, but he wanted somebody in his age bracket.
Then both of y'all.
That makes no sense.
Somebody got to be there to do
something. Yeah.
It was for him. He just felt it was really. He just really felt it was humiliating for me to, I worked and I would come in, and it was only like 2 weeks. He was sick, but it was enough that it just did something to him.
And it canceled the relationship or the friendship?
And we continued to be friends, but because we had already crossed the friend zone and went into a different area, it was hard to now
for him to
separate for both of us because we had hung out and kicked it.
Did you have an emotional contact?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Were you willing to take care of him?
Absolutely.
So you were willing to take care of him, but he didn't want to be taken care of.
He didn't want to, because of the life that I had shown him that I lived as a younger female and the things that I did and where I was going.
He wanted you to be with somebody that can continue that lifestyle.
Absolutely. That's what he wanted.
I was going to say.
Is he still alive?
He is still alive, doing well.
He mad now.
He actually has a very beautiful female within his age range, and they do some adventurous things. They can't,
She ain't no replacement for you. Now.
Of course not. I don't think she's gonna jump off of anything. Me, I was cliff diving, skydiving, scuba diving, anything, but. He now has someone that's compatible that he can do those things with within his age range. Somebody that'll push him in the safe zone. Me, I didn't worry about a broken
head.
Him. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about broken head. Jump. Right. But apparently that was something that was a concern for him. So I miss his company. I miss the fun that we had, but I definitely understood and respected. And honestly, I never saw myself marrying him or anything like that. He had 3 boys that I didn't like. And I never met them, but just hearing about the upbringing and how they handle it, that wasn't a part.
So he had 3 boys that you didn't like. You never intended to marry him, but yet you were kicking it with him. We'll talk about that when we come back from break.
Okay, fine.
Family, you're tuned in to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community.
I'm just saying.
So you was hamster wheeling it. Going